Wakizashi's Tea House. Konnichiwa minasan, this is Gray from Wakizashi's Tea House over in Japan. How are you doing? Are you good? I'm great today because I'm giving my review and breakdown of The Wheel of Time, episode 4, which is called The Dragon Reborn. Now this episode starts off with a battle in a city, and it ends with a huge magical battle at the Aes Sedai camp. So there's a lot of action in this episode. There's also some nice background and character building scenes. The world building is being extended. There's a fantastic scene involving one of the evil creatures called the Fade. Like, we see it in action for the first proper time. We also see a lot more of the magic being used. It's being used by Loghain. It's being used by the Aes Sedai members. And there's a surprising scene at the end as well, which I didn't see coming because, as I said before, I'm not familiar with the books. I'm coming to this as a newbie, as a freshie, like I don't know the background. So I recommend it. It's a great episode. You know, this is a really well-produced fantasy series, which is looking good and looking better by each episode. So yeah, check it out. Now I'm going to go into my story breakdown, so they're going to be spoilers from now on, okay? So if you don't want to know any spoilers, you can stop watching now. See you in a minute. Episode 4 opens above a city called Gealden, and we're seeing an attack on this city. It's by, here we go, Loghain. Loghain believes he's the Dragon Reborn. So we see the king of the city fleeing. The guards are fighting to save his life, and then we see some of the magic power used by Loghain. It's a great scene. It's kind of his energy power is black, like a black smoke. So he stops the king. The king is injured. Looks like he's going to die soon. And we hear a female voice whispering in Loghain's ear, saying, you know, kill him, kill the king. But surprisingly, he doesn't. He heals the king's injury instead. So it looks like he wants to make the king a follower, and he's telling him that maybe he is a Dragon Reborn, but he is not going to break the world. He's going to bind it. After the opening credits, we switch scenes to the Aes Sedai camp. This is where Moraine is being healed. Now, while she's being healed, they tell her that they've captured Loghain, who believes he's a Dragon Reborn. So, of course, she wants to go and see him. When she's finished healing, she goes to check him out, see what his powers are like, and he's been held by some of the members. They're shielding his powers with theirs, so he's silent. He looks like he's unconscious, but he's sat upright. His eyes are closed. In the next scene, we catch up with Perrin and Egwene. Now they're travelling with the travelling people who they met in the last episode. This group of people are going towards a place called Tar Valon, and I think so far Perrin doesn't trust them. He's suspicious. He seems to spend a lot of time walking around with his mouth open for some reason. So yeah, it's a very short scene. Following this, we catch up with Rand and Mat, who are now travelling with Tom, the Gleeman. He was the older man that they met in the last episode, the guy who was singing in the pub. Now they're travelling together, and a farmer sees them, and he's threatening them with a bow and arrow, but Rand calms him down. They offer to work at the farm in exchange for shelter. Okay, then we switch to a scene with Mat, where he seems to be showing signs of madness. Is it the One Power coming through? It's quite a creepy, disturbing scene where we see a black rash appearing over his skin, and he vomits up something black. It's a really creepy scene. Then in another scene, we have Tom and Rand together, and Tom's telling Rand a story about his nephew, Owen, who started showing signs of the power and the madness, of course. Now, the Aes Sedai discovered this, and they came and they took his power away in something which is called gentling him. They removed him from his power, and it drove him crazy, and eventually he killed himself. So we're getting warnings about the dangers of the power when it's wielded by men. Can't have men wielding power, can you? Next, we return to the Aes Sedai camp, and we're given background about the relationship, the bond between the Aes Sedai and their warders. We're told that it's a stronger bond than family, stronger than husband and wife. So this refers to the Aes Sedai, for example, Moraine and the warder Lan. Then we hear Lan talking about the Dragon Reborn, Loghain, and he thinks he's too old to be the true Dragon Reborn. In the next scene, which is probably my favourite scene in the episode, we go back to Rand and Matt. Now Rand is having a nightmare. He sees a dark figure with burning eyes, and then he sees Matt in his dream with blood on his hands. So Rand wakes up, shocked. He goes looking for Matt and he can't find him. He goes into the farmhouse and he finds the family. They're all dead. They've been slaughtered. Was it Matt? Then Matt appears with Tom, and Matt is pointing his dagger saying, "I see you." And suddenly, out of the shadows, we see a Fade. The Fade attacks. Tom and the creature fight. So Tom tells them to flee, like, "Get out," to Matt and Rand. And Matt and Rand get out of there as fast as they can, get onto horses, and they flee the scene. And we're left seeing Tom fighting the Fade. The Fade is strong and powerful. It can catch the daggers that Tom's throwing at it. So it's a really good scene, really exciting. And the effects on the Fade are pretty scary. Look at that. Look at that mouth, those teeth. Very cool. In the final scene, there's a long extended action scene where Loghain's army attack the Aes Sedai camp. And we see various members of the Aes Sedai using their magical powers to defend the camp. At the same time this is going on, Loghain, the great dragon, he breaks free of his cage inside the cave, and he's fighting the different members of the Aes Sedai who were guarding him. There's all sorts going on. People are getting hit, getting injured. Let me show one of the scenes from the forest here. So in the middle of the forest you see magical explosions, people flying through the air in slow motion. There's also like sword fighting. It's quite brutal. The action is well done. Very exciting scene. So at the same time, as I say, the great dragon breaks free and he's talking with Morwain. He's trying to convince her that he's not going to break the world. He's going to heal it. He's going to bind it. He's going to bring everybody together. But of course, he's lying. So they fight back, and then he gets attacked by one of the members of Then he gets attacked by one of the members of the army, who tries to hit him with 2 axes. It breaks his force field, and he breaks out. And he launches a huge magical attack on the members in the cave, and quite a few get injured, seemingly almost killed. And then we see one of the characters, who I don't even know her name, but she gets angry and she screams, and there's a huge healing spell which hits all the members in the cave, and they're healed. And the Dragon Reborn is just like, oh my god, a blinding light. I think he thinks that this woman is the Dragon Reborn. And that's it. That's where the episode ends. Okay, that's it for my review. What did you think of the episode? If you watched it, please leave a comment below and let me know what you thought. As I say, I enjoyed it and I'm looking forward to next week's episode. Okay, this is Gray from Wakizashi's Tea House signing off. Matane. Wakizashi's Tea House. Please subscribe.